beautiful and handsome world changers. Welcome back to the Nomad CEO Podcast. I'm Kenz, your host, and today we have the honor and privilege to have one of my dearest friends, long-term friends, and she is a kick booty serial entrepreneur and business owner, Aleah Bennett, on the show. I am so pumped to have her. Now, listen up because Aleah has a vast, long resume of things that she's done in her life, and you'll be blown away by this conversation. So she brings a uniquely diverse background that spans service, healthcare, military service, healthcare, and real estate. Now, she served 20 years in the US military as a corpsman, including serving during the Iraqi war. Oh my gosh. And followed by years in the medical field as a medical assistant and medical coder. And she holds a bachelor's of science in medical administration from Oregon State University. Now, not only that, Aleah then transitions into real estate, and she's a seasoned investor. She has experience across commercial properties, long-term rentals, mid-term rentals, and short-term rentals, and residential flips. Like, this girl can do it all. And she has worked as a real estate agent as well. So what's so exciting in that is that Aleah is going to share with you a new book that she has authored, and it's her first book, and it's called Real Estate Unlocked: How to Buy and Sell Real Estate Without an Agent. Hot diggity dog. That's going to be a good read. And that's scheduled to release in June of 2026. So Aleah, I know this through and through. She is a lifelong learner. That is her nature. And she just believes in continuously evolving skills rather than staying confined to one career path. And outside of work, she finds balance in the great outdoors, and she snowboards, hikes, travels, explores new places, among so many of her other passions. So Aleah, welcome to the Nomad CEO Podcast. I'm so glad to have you here.
And Mackenzie, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you. Like you said, we've been a long time. We've done business together. We've done friendship together. And I just really appreciate what you bring to the table and what you're doing with the Nomad CEO Podcast. It's absolutely brilliant. And what you got in World Changers, just amazing. So thank you. I'm super happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so pumped. You are one of the wisest people that I know, and I'm just so pumped to dive into this. And so I have to share too, because it's so fun to share with people how we met. We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
We believe it was back in 2016. So 10 years ago, Aleah and I we found ourselves, long story short, I won't say where we worked, but we worked at a place that neither of us really wanted to work at. Long story short, it was a desk job. There weren't really any windows. It's kind of where like souls went to die. I'm sorry, that might be extreme, but it's how it felt.
That's how I describe it as well. This is where people come to die in work. And you know what's funny is I remember, I don't know how long I'd been there, a couple months, 4 months, and I remember hearing a scuttlebutt about somebody dying in the building from work. And I was like, it just like hit me. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is where people come to die. No, awful. Let's get out. Yeah.
Literally. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Trauma. Wow. Geez. So it's really cool to hear all the amazing things that you not only did before, but also after that job and the amazing life that you lead. So I'm so grateful for you. Truly, you are a ride or die. And I hope you know, Aleah, before we dive in, like when I think of people in my life that I know have my back, that give me far more grace because you've seen me grow through so many seasons, and you've always stayed steady in your support. Like truly, like I look back at different businesses I've built and ran, and growth seasons, maturing, and I'm still maturing. I'm still figuring certain things out, no question, for life. But it's just to have a friend like you that sees the potential in me and the grace that you've offered me and the encouragement. Like I can't tell you enough how valuable that has been these last 10 years. So thank you so much. I hope you know. Yeah, I know. Okay.
No, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I do. And I know when we met, I feel like we saw the potential in one another. You know, we were at a place we necessarily didn't want to be, and we saw the potential in one another. And we're like, girl, you were meant for more. No, you were meant for more. Well, let's do this together. Let's pump each other up together. And I think that's what like sisterhood friendship absolutely should be. So thank you for this, for showing me that and bringing me along with you on your ride as well. So it's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Sisterhood's a great way to say it. I feel that deep. So, well, yes, well, let's dive in. So I'd love to just start from the beginning, Aleah, of your journey, where you're from and really what parts of your childhood stand out to you that have shaped the woman you are today.
Ooh. So originally I am from Grants Pass, Oregon. So Southern Oregon. Grew up 18 years there, floating, rafting, the Rogue River, highlight. Childhood, however, was a bit of a different story. I grew up in a lot of fear, a lot of, uncertainty. And you always, in those circumstances where you grow up, you learn what you do not prefer the best. And that's how you grow. Because you're like, I don't like this. I don't like how I'm being raised. I don't like, like how things are done. I remember for an example, like my parents smoked. And I remember one day, just as I'm sitting there 6 years old, 7 years old, like I made the decision right there. I will never smoke. It's disgusting. I did not prefer it. So I grew up, I did not smoke, have never smoked. And so it was just something that you take away and you're like, I do not like this. And so it was rough. It was a rough childhood. My dad was an abusive man. My mom, again, we lived in fear. So it was always one challenge after another. And through those stripes, through that childhood, you don't realize how resilient you are. The strength that comes from that resilience is absolutely tenfold. It's just like anything. It's like with failure. You don't realize your potential, your strength until you experience that. And it's the same thing in childhood. So, then I left. I left at 18 years old and childhood.
Wow. I don't know if I knew that about that decision at 6 or 7 to not smoke. That's profound at a time in your life where you're still growing up, still learning the world. That's such a vulnerable time, right? And to make such a solid decision that actually says a lot about what I know about you. Like you are a very resolute woman and it started young. So kudos to you for taking a difficult experience and using it for good for yourself. So I love that. And I'm so curious because professionally speaking, as you left that season of your life, that upbringing, and then got into the military and you've been in healthcare and now real estate, like how have these chapters now shaped how you think about life, how you think about business?
Oh, I'm in the person that believes everything happens for a reason, for your learning, for your growth, for your journey. Really. So my childhood, though it halted me in many ways, like I didn't understand emotions as a child. I wasn't empathic. It was all about me, very narcissistic. And the things that I went through, though I didn't choose that or, I was molded into that necessarily, but that and the lessons that I learned to get to more empathetic, understanding what people want, what people need, what they're asking me even. Like if I didn't have that experience as a young child, I don't know if I would have, it was hard to get to understanding that, but that learning experience has shaped how I do business, shaped who I am currently. And if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't be who I am, where I am today. So I think every hard lesson with so much gratitude and so much appreciation because it's taught me growth. It's taught me so much. And I continue, even sometimes it's hard, like when you're in something, or you just experience something, you're like upset at the world and you're like, but sometimes it takes years. It's taken me years to come to the gratitude. I give for my father who's passed in 2011, and even though he was not a good man, like I actually give him so much gratitude. Just last week, I just remember saying like, thank you for coming to this earth and doing what you did because I have grown so much. And without you, I would have not grown like this. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that's how I I kind of use those lessons from childhood or teachings, I guess you could say, into who I am and what I do now in my career, in my personal life, whatever aspect of my life, I use it now.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. I'm sure that alone can free up a lot of people listening, right? Of someone in their life that didn't maybe do them right, and yet to forgive them, and not only forgive them, but to thank them,
Yeah.
and even after they're gone, like I bet the freedom, like how did that feel for you to genuinely thank your father for, what he did and didn't do for you?
It releases. It's so hard to describe the feeling, but it releases you. It releases
Mm,
you on a freedom level. I can see it as like a string attached. Like I think of it as an energy cord attached to another person. And once you release that and you're
mm,
just like a weight has been lifted off of you. And then when you come in with gratitude, it just elevates it. It just elevates that feeling. And you're just in a different space. You're in a different head space. You're in a different heart space. So it just makes you walk through life differently. You walk through life
mm.
differently.
Wow. I love that image of the cord. I've never thought of it that way. Wow. That's good. Girl, that's good. Okay. Oh, okay. So I'm really curious too, because I met you when you're working in healthcare, obviously.
Mm.
So what specifically led you to get into real estate? Like what did that transition look like behind the scenes in your life? Because that's a big jump. I mean, a lot of people may have a stable 9 to 5 job, but want to pursue something where they can,
Yeah.
maybe have uncapped income. So yeah, what did that look like for you?
So I accidentally got into real estate.
Love it.
Unbeknownst to me. So in 2016, I purchased a home, a little townhome in Boise, and I met my husband the same year who had purchased a home in Boise at the same time. So
Wow.
when we finally decided to move in together, I was like, what do I do with my home? I didn't feel like selling it was the right answer. So
Mm.
I was like, well, let's rent it. So that's exactly
Hmm.
exactly what I did, and I became a landlord. And
Mm.
it's like you're in real estate, but you're not in real estate.
Mm.
It didn't even
Mm.
cross my mind.
Mm.
So I became a landlord, and one day it just kind of I was seeking advice actually from somebody, and they were like, "Why don't you do this, this, and this?" And I was like, "A light bulb goes on," and then you just kind of go down
Mm.
this path, and then all of a
Mm.
sudden I'm a real estate agent. All of a sudden I'm doing opportunities with flips came around, like me buying a
Mm.
property, taking 3 to 6 months to flip the property, and I was like, and then you fall in love. Like I fell in love with design. I fell in love
Mm.
with designing the right house and the right decor, and you're like, oh, I really enjoy this, and like there's so many twists and turns, but I fell into it. And
Wow.
I loved the business aspect, and I loved the design aspect of it. So
Mm.
yeah,
Wow.
that's how a lot of things happen. You just kind of, and you have to take the crumble, because if you don't take the
Mm.
crumble, you have no idea what that looks like. Like, well, this feels good. Well, this feels good. I'm enjoying this. Like, why not? So when my husband, we decided to move to Wyoming,
Mm.
and I was able to do real estate full time. So that's
Mm.
exactly what I chose to do at the time, and step away from the healthcare industry. So, and it's been
Wow.
amazing. I love it.
Wow. Yeah, that's so good. I love that. And what's also incredible is that you've spent 20 years in the military. So
Yeah.
where was the overlap of, I mean, healthcare and real estate, has real estate had some overlap then? Well, it's had to. You're so young. I'm trying to do the math. But yeah, what does that look like?
So I joined the military at 18, became a corpsman, which is in the medical field. So
Mm.
I just kind of continued outside of the military as well, because it was familiar, because not necessarily because
Mm.
I really it was a passion of mine by no stretch, but it was just familiarity. So when I stepped
Mm.
into real estate, it was really out of the box. It was really
Mm.
something brand new, a new, and I really equate it to like medical terms. You're like, I have no idea what you're saying. It's new language. Real estate is
Mm.
often the same way. If you step into really anything, there's a whole new language to learn, a whole new system to learn.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's exactly what I did. There's not a lot of overlap. There's not a lot of overlap at all. Just you're learning something. You're just learning
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of the many things that I admire about you is that you have navigated different, like such different industries, but also, I mean, the military, I'm sure, I'm so curious on that as well. Like that has to build you. Like not everyone is gonna thrive in the military, let alone 2 decades. And so I'm curious, what are some of the stories that you've had, maybe on deployment or in your journey that really stand out to you that have also shaped you?
Ooh. After 20 years in the military, you get a lot of stories.
Yeah,
Anybody in
I
the
could
military
imagine.
anybody in the military can tell you that. So out of the military, I deployed 5 times.
Mm.
So I'm going to tell you 2 stories.
Mhm.
One story is going to be really relative to today's age that I learned back in the day.
Mm.
So we were on, and another story is going to be more heartfelt, more uplifting, if you will. So the one story I wanted to share with you is I was deployed to Fallujah, Iraq in
Mm.
2025, 2026. So I know Mackenzie was super young for this, but all us old timers remember the fight for Fallujah, and we were there, and you would hear stories. So I'm at the medical compound, and you would hear stories from all the guys coming in about things that were happening. And we were able to access, there was a little TV that we had, and you would get little news channels, little snippets from, I forget what the news channel was for the military, but it's a military channel and they did news. Anyway, as I digress. So I remember hearing the stories that the guys were telling. And I remember hearing stories from the news. And I was like, I remember like, that's not what they were saying. That's not what was being shared with me, but the news is saying something completely different. And then on my next deployment to Al Assad, I remember looking over in the chow hall, and the chow hall had these big TVs. And I remember somebody throwing something at the TV, the news channel, because they were saying incorrect, just throwing it, just like, I'm not listening to you. And I was like, oh, what's happening over there? So I learned during those deployments not to listen to everything on the media. That means like social media, that means TV, that means anything. You're experiencing it, you are there, take it in, if you will, but like, don't hold on to it. The truth is always something different. And then again, there's always 2 perspectives to the same truth. So that's one story I have.
Yeah. Wow. That's good.
And then the other story, I want to talk about like more overcoming, if you will. So when I did my field medical service, it was to become part of the Marines, to become part of a certain field med. I had to go through a school, and going through the school is very hard. It's not an easy thing. And when you're also 5'2" with short little legs trying to keep up with men who are 6'3" with long legs, it can be rough. So we had what is called humps. So a very long hike that we did in about 8 miles. It was an 8-mile hump, up mountains, up valleys, and then you had 50 pounds pack on your back. So full battle rattle is what they call it. And then you had about 50 pounds on you. And you're trying to keep up with these gentlemen. And it's a feat to behold within itself. Probably why my knees are shot. But I remember this was the last hike that we had to basically graduate. You needed to accomplish this. If you didn't accomplish this, then you had to roll over into the next class. And there was no way that I was going to roll over into this next class. I'd come this far. But I remember getting to the end, and we're all lined up going down this trail, and my body was failing. Like I could not go. Like I stopped sweating. I mean, I had some medical things happening. And I just remember like I tripped over a stone, and I remember almost rolling down, but like catching myself at the last minute and thinking like, do I quit now? What? I've come so far. You can do this. You can do this. Your body's failing, but your mind's not. Your mind is in control of your body. You got this. We only had maybe a quarter of a mile to go. We were almost there.
Mm.
I just remember picking myself up and just putting one foot after the other and till we finally made it. And I just remember thinking, Aleah, you did this. You did something so hard and you did it. You can do hard things. And that's always stuck with me. That journey has always stuck with me. So no matter what you're doing, you can finish it. You can do hard things. And you got this. So those are my
bravo. Bravo. So good. Wow. Okay. I love it. Well, okay. So first story, then second story. The first story of your insight on the behind the scenes of the actual news. Oh, that is good. That is really, really, I mean, it's sad, right? Of like
yeah.
how the message can get misconstrued and how few people may actually be aware that that's the case. But it makes sense as well because Aleah, I could say 20 million great things about you. You are one of the most efficient or proficient, maybe is a better word, I don't know, but effective. I don't know what the word is, but I'm trying to describe the critical thinking that you do. Like you're a really good critical thinker. And so it sounds like, certain experiences like that, I imagine there's a nature component, but I've nurtured that as well. So that's fascinating. And then, man, everyone needs a good I can do hard things story. And I could only imagine how many people would push through that 8-mile trek, because I mean, how long ago was that? Like at what point
I
roughly how old were you?
was 21 at the time. I was 21 at the time. And there was a lot of women, especially, men too, that didn't make not only the hike, but you were out in the field for a week. So you hadn't showered for a week. You were living out of a tent. You were, like a tent. Like people think a tent, no, a tent. Like you were sleeping on the ground, which was fine. Like it was all the experience. So you were going through a lot. Like had no sleep. Like the night before, we had absolutely no sleep. Maybe an hour. So you were you were weathered already. And then to put your body through even more, it was asking a lot for your body. And I wasn't in people are like, you were in prime shape. I was like, no. I got during those 8 weeks of field med school, I got into prime shape. I tell you that much. But prior to, I was in the lap of luxury in Okinawa, Japan, eating so much rice that, even the Japanese were like, girl, you eat a lot of rice, So.
Oh my gosh, rice is so good though. Let's be real.
Love the rice. Love the rice.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay. Wow, that's really good. Such good stuff. So I am, I'm kind of jumping around between your different experiences. I do want to segue back to real estate because that is something, you fell into, right? Serendipitously. And now, I mean, you have so much experience and now you are teaching other people essentially through the process that you've gone through. So I would love to hear more of how you started to learn about the different types of real estate, or even just giving a summary on different types of real estate if people are thinking about it. And so people that own their own businesses that listen to this, as well as people that are aspiring to own their own business or grow their business. And you have a lot of experience in business. So yeah, could you just share a little bit about those different types of real estate and how you learned about it?
So I went from a property manager, basically. So I learned a little bit about business. You dip your toe into it, really. And then I moved into fix and flip. So my one townhome that I had was completely destroyed by a tenant. So, and I had to full gut it and I had to full remodel it. So I learned a lot about construction in that process, just always learning. And then I was also a real estate agent at that time. I just gotten licensed, if I remember correctly. So I wasn't doing full real estate. I was just doing my own properties. So selling my own properties, the ones that I bought. So just dipping your toe in the business aspect, but always learning. I was learning construction. I was learning about business at the time, how to do your taxes, keep all of your receipts, right? So I learned that one the hard way too. But you're just learning about all these different things. And then when we moved to Wyoming, I gave birth, and then I got my real estate license in Wyoming as well. Did a couple residential flips back actually in Idaho while we were living in while we were living in Wyoming, excuse me. And then I decided to purchase a home here and turn it into like an STR MTR. So an STR is short-term rental, MTR or midterm rentals. So MTRs are 30-day stays or longer. And then short-term rentals, as we know, are called like Airbnbs, those short-term ones. So, and then we also have a long-term rental in Boise as well. So that's for anyone who's looking for roughly about a year or longer. So I've dabbled in all three of them. The one that we have here in Casper, which is a midterm, short-term rental, I loved doing. It taught me so much about design. It taught me so much about you look at it from the other person's perspective, right? What does somebody want? What is somebody willing to pay? Or how do you bring them in and bring them in to have an experience? Right? That's what real estate, in my opinion, is all about. You want them to have an experience. So I learned so much from that experience. And I have a killer Airbnb here, all 5 stars. I love it. So keeping that train a truck. And then from the commercial standpoint, I owned a gas station car wash in a different city here in Wyoming as well. Never again will I ever do that again. I learned so many things from that experience, mostly along the I do not prefer line, which is good. It helps you know what you prefer, right? It helps you evaluate things going forward. So when I step into another business or when I build another business, I will not have this liability. I will not entertain these types of clients. You know, it just, it made things become, it's just like when I was a child and I was like, I do not like this. I will not continue this. It's the same thing in business. You don't know what you prefer until you experience it. And then you just draw like a hard line. You literally draw a hard line. And it's so interesting because that commercial experience, the car wash gas station experience, helped me with the short-term and midterm rental that we have here. And you're like, but what? It doesn't really translate, but it absolutely does. When somebody comes at me and they're like, will you take, let's say, a lower price for it? And you're like, absolutely not. I know what I have. This is the value that I bring to the table. And then this is my line. I've set my price accordingly. It absolutely matches market value, if not above. Like, this is my line. And I'm not desperate for a customer to come in. You kind of just hold your line. And if I didn't have that car wash experience, that other business, I don't know if I would have been able to know to hold the line in that. So it's just all of these. And I've had a lot of bad experiences in real estate. You know, the one tenant that completely trashed my place and cost us, it was a $40,000 remodel. I learned again, and I had to learn it again in a different way, but I thought I learned it and I didn't because I repeated it, you know, in a different one. But it was like finding your tenants. And you have this line that you need to have. And if they don't have that, then it's a no. It's a hard no. And I had to learn that again it was cheaper with $10,000, but I learned that as well. Taking your time, not being rushed, feeling into what this is. I mean, I've had so many failures that have led to more successes down the road. But I needed to experience those failures to understand business, to understand what you will tolerate, what you will not tolerate, and what kind of person as a business owner that you want to be. So those were all just, I feel like I haven't even answered your question. What was the question again? I just went off on this tangent.
No, it's good. It's so good. And that's part of, I mean, a lot of it's just the having more context. You did, because it was like, what's the short-term, long-term, you know, midterm rentals, and just the lessons that you've learned, because, and you answered it beautifully of, you know, you had to go through those failures to ultimately create the success. And I relate a lot in my own way. I haven't been in real estate, but I thought I learned that lesson. Nope. JK, I gotta do it again. But sometimes it does take that layered learning of, you know, a couple times of, okay, yes, that's really sunk in. So yeah, that
Right.
makes a ton of sense. So from here, I would love to, because you're authoring a book, Real Estate Unlocked: How to Buy and Sell Without an Agent. That is
Yeah.
amazing. So could you share, like, without giving everything away, but one or two things that people might be surprised to learn or would be really valuable for them to learn that you're writing about in that book?
Yes. And I think why I'm writing it
Mm,
also will relate to the stories as well. So,
mm,
why I chose to write this book, and it's just like anything in business. When you
mhm,
see a gap and you're just like, can I create something that
mhm,
will help this gap? So
mm,
I tried to, what this book has done, and what I'm trying to do is bridge a gap between like real estate agents for sale by owners and then the homeowners.
mm,
So I was hearing a lot about people just being super upset, homeowners being upset, people who are going to buy houses being upset because they were like, I don't understand this process. I'm paying a lot of money in commissions for this. I don't know if I'm getting the value back from that money.
mm,
And I'm just like, I just kept hearing like they don't understand the process. And if they
mhm,
understood the process, they also had a choice, right? They could choose to do it themselves, or
mm,
they're like, oh, yeah, I can see where real estate agents add value and I'm willing to pay this commission. Right. So there was just
mm,
a huge education gap that I was like, I'm going to fill this. So that's why
mm.
I decided to write this book. As far as okay, what was the other question you had?
Yeah. No, you're good. If I may, because this is really brilliant, Aleah, that you have identified this gap and this book is helping fill it. Because I haven't listened to Dave Ramsey in a while, but his podcast came up on my feed and I was like, let's give it a go, Dave. Anyways, he was talking about their financial advisors, I don't know what he calls them, but, or Smart Investor Pro, I think is his term. But
Mm,
he says a really good one has the heart of a teacher where they'll get on and teach you so you know. Because a lot of people are like, how do I invest my money? What do I
mm,
do? I'm confused. And Dave
right,
Ramsey's one of the, arguably one of the most brilliant businessmen today. And the fact that you've seen that gap now in real estate is powerful, right? Because I would be that person of like, I don't know where to start. So but then yes, what really goes into someone selling a home or buying a home as a realtor?
right,
Is it justifiable? Because with all due love and respect for realtors, they're not all made the same.
right.
And so it's, knowing what you're paying for, I think is really, really important. So I say all of that just to give you kudos that I think that's a brilliant gap to fill. And, I'm excited because I know that'll help a lot of people. So yeah, so then from there, I guess what's one or two practical things along that note that people will learn in the sense of a realtor, like if they're like, hey, I could do this myself without a realtor, right? Like what might be one of those things?
So really, you're going to need help. There's just like anybody who you may understand the process or may not, or you're like gaps and you're like, I need to fill these
Mm.
gaps. So you purchase my book.
So this is really what I'm curious about is if someone's like, hey, I'm going to buy a home, I'm going to read this book to learn about it, but what are one of the things that I don't know right now that this book will teach me in that process of going to buy a home?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
No, that's a great question. So I'm trying to, because it's like I know all of these, but
Mm,
some of the things that I didn't know, and I go
mm,
over. I mean, I go over everything. I'm talking about to negotiations, to contracts, to marketing, how to post an open house, like how you do everything is lined out in this book.
mm,
Contractors, what to look for in contractors. So I even have a section on how to look for a good real estate agent, what you're looking for. Because, like you
mm,
just said, no real estate agent is cut out the same cloth. So you're going to have so many different things. And a couple things that I didn't know, because I don't work everywhere either, right? I don't work
mm,
in all of the states. Every state is absolutely different laws, different contracts, different everything. And
mm,
I tried to make this book as broad as I possibly could, but help filter, give you scenarios or give you what's the word like filters to try to narrow it
mm,
down for your specific area.
Mm.
So things that I didn't know as a real estate agent in
Mm.
2 different states was there are what's called an attorney state. Most of the states that
Mm.
I've worked in have title and escrow companies. No, there's states on the East Coast that use attorneys to do everything. I put all of that information in the book, and this is doing
Wow.
my own research for this book. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. So,
Mm.
and then I did an interview with one of my good friends, Janelle Kennedy,
Mm.
who is in the book as well. And because we're talking about marketing, and
Mm.
she's like, because I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to market. I've done for sale by owner marketing. Like, I know where to
Mm.
market. And she's like, have you done YouTube? And I was like, no, that wasn't even on my radar. And she's like, yeah, a lot of what's happening in her world in Las Vegas, she's like, Zillow is too much for people. Everybody's going to YouTube.
Mm.
And I was like, really? So there's the real estate industry is always changing, new
Mm.
marketing, new everything. And I can see myself updating this book often just to
Mhm.
keep up with it. I mean, there's new AI tools coming out. Like, there's real estate companies just doing real estate via AI. So it's going to open up a
Mm.
whole new world. But at the same token, and this is another reason why I wrote this book, because it's always changing, but these are the basics right now.
Mm.
This is
Mhm.
how everything flows. What you as a homeowner need to do, from an inspection point to writing a good contract, some contract tips to what to put in there to help
Mm.
elevate your offer. I've put in a lot of nuggets to help homeowners understand not only
Mm.
the process, but it's always evolving. So if you bought a house even in the 2000s, it's a completely different ballgame now. So it's
Mm.
just constantly changing.
Mm. Wow. That's well, and it sounds like too, learning the principles that like you talked about, even in selecting an agent, like even if AI comes in the picture, it sounds like having some just I know for me, even just hearing you talk about that, I'm like, it gives my brain somewhere to follow the bouncing ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like here's the yellow brick road to at least figuring some of it out. And to your point, I mean, a lot's going to change that we're all going to have to adapt to in most industries if we haven't already. So I love the fact too, Aleah, that you've taken your own personal experience and paired with your business mindset of filling a gap, because it's not just something that you're writing to write, but rather you're writing it because you know what it's like.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's
Absolutely. I
huge.
mean, I remember buying my first home in
Mm.
in Boise, and it was a roller coaster. And that's the thing about this book. I put in so many different stories that I've experienced,
Mm.
stories that other experts have experienced to help you along your journey, and just to give like a good. Some of it's funny, some of it you're like, oh, but I put in so many different stories, and I mean, and that's the thing too. I remember my first time buying a home, and you're like, what? I was so lost, so
Oh.
confused, and I felt like I was on this string being pulled along with no
Mm.
idea what was happening around me. Absolutely no idea.
Mm.
And I mean, that story's in the book too. It's a little bit more in depth in the book, but and I didn't want that for other people.
Mm.
Why would you want to be completely led by someone else? And that's why I was like, empower these people to make that choice. And honestly,
Mm.
I think this book is great for first time real estate agents who have
Mm.
not done real estate before. And they're like, oh, this is how this process actually works.
Mm.
Great overview of everything. So it's a great teaching
Wow.
book, not only for homeowners, real estate agents. I'm trying to do my best to lay everything out on the table.
Mm. That's incredible. Incredible. Plus, for a realtor too, reading, hey, these are things you look for in a realtor. Be sure to follow that. You know what I mean? Make
Here's
sure
your
you're
list.
hireable. Yeah.
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 So I love this. I could talk to you all day. I love it. I love it. So excited to read it when it comes out and tell all the people about it. A couple of other questions for you, and then we'll go through our typical questions for guests. But I want to talk about the beautiful family life that you have also built along all of your entrepreneurial endeavors, all the travel, all the success that you've achieved. Like you have a beautiful family unit, and I see that in you. And it's just because I met you the year you met Steve.
It's true. That's
So
true.
yeah, now you're a mama and you're just still rocking it. So what has that journey looked like for you to still foster the depth of a quality family life while doing everything else?
Oof, that's your roller coaster right there. Again, it's just like business. It's just like anything. You're learning.
Mm,
Relationships are all about learning from one another. Relationships, I always look at it as your mirror. And you can
mm,
choose to look at yourself because the other person's mirroring you. And then you go like, "Oh, I need to work on that. That's in
mm,
me." So you're always learning. You're always learning about yourself from your family. I can't even tell you my 4-year-old, and I look at him and some of the things that he does, and it takes me right back to my childhood. And I'm going like,
mm,
that was me. That was my loudness, my just curious behavior. And I'm so in love with it. Right. I'm just
mm.
like, it brings me back and I give myself so much love, even though maybe I was yelled at or, for being loud because I was loud and I was yelled at. But I look at my son who's also loud and I was like, I just love it. I just loving him and just learning from him. The patience is I've learned so much about myself in regards to patience, being in family, being with my family. And I absolutely love and adore them. I would not, again, just like business, I would not be the person I am today without them. The growth and learning behind it it's so valuable or invaluable,
Mm.
one of the two.
Both? I don't. Yeah, what's the difference?
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
Yeah, but they both make sense to me. So we're just gonna
Okay,
run with that.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'm curious, in addition to this book that's coming out soon, what else are you looking, and I know a little bit of this, but whatever you want to share of the next chapter, if you will, of your life's book in business. What are you working towards right now?
I have some big and exciting news. No triggers have been pulled yet, as I like to say, but my plan right at this very minute, and as I'm looking at this building, this commercial building across the street that
Mm,
I will own,
mm,
it's going to be a Pilates studio and a spa. So all wellness from hydrotherapy to sauna to IV therapy. I want it to be all in one spot, a wellness building, a holistic building. So that is my next venture. I just need to purchase this building. I have such a great
mm,
vision for. So all big things. I've done a lot of things. I have absolutely done a lot of things in life, and sometimes you don't give yourself enough gratitude. And I look back and I'm like, oh, maybe I guess I have. That's crazy.
mm,
But
mm,
this next adventure that I'm going to go on with building the Pilates studio and the spas, the wellness center is something big. And I've never done anything this big. It absolutely scares the pudding out of me, to be quite frank. Scares the living pudding out of me. But
mm,
just like I gave that example from that hike in field med school, like you can do hard things. You will be able to
mm,
figure it out. You will get it done. It will be the vision that you set it out to be because it will help people in this town. And it's a need. It's a need in this town. And I see that. I see another gap that I want to fill. I want to fill that gap
mm,
and help those that want that type of business. So
mm.
just got to prep talk myself sometimes. You can do this. You
Yeah.
can do hard things. You got this. So
Oh, that is incredible. Oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come stay in Wyoming for a while. It's fine. I'm gonna hang out. I'll stay in your
you're
Airbnb and spend all day there.
I was just gonna say that. Come hang out. I
Yeah.
already envision a little lobby in there that is gonna be a hangout spot. We're gonna have fresh juices from the
Mm.
lovely lemon down the road. So yeah, it's gonna be a spot. So
So good. Oh, I'm so pumped. Thank you for sharing that. Aleah, you're incredible. I could, again, talk to you all day. But could you share where people can connect with you, right? Where they can reach out to you online, follow your journey, purchase the book, all of that.
yes. So on Instagram, which is where I post that the most, something different, Aleah is the handle at that. And it's the same at Facebook as well. It's a business page for my
Mm,
business, something different real estate, where I have online courses that it's the same as the book, except it's the online version that you can find there.
mm,
And the website for that is www.somethingdifferentre.com. townhome.com. So go check that out. I got forums on there. I got classes, tons of information. So, and also where you can find, you're going to be able to find my book on there as well. So
awesome. I love that. Love that. That's so good. Okay, we're going to dive into the little quick questions here. So I know, no pressure. No. But what's your favorite travel destination and why?
Ooh, okay. So I've been a lot of places. I've been to a lot of places, and the one place that I've been to when me and my husband were in Italy, and it's not just I love Italy in general, but we were on the beach in Italy. And I remember playing in that water like I was a child. And it was the water was warm. I just brought out something. And I was like, I can stay here forever. I absolutely love Italy. I love their beaches. It's super beautiful, relaxed. I just love it.
Oh, man. Makes me want to go back to Italy. That's so good. I love it. Okay, what are one of your favorite books that you've read for yourself or podcasts that you listen to?
So one of my favorite books, and this is going to sound, I read a lot of nonfiction books. So, but the one that's always stuck out and the one I actually use the most is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. And he's an FBI negotiator, right? So he talks about negotiation. And I have actually used this, and I used his book in various forms to negotiate different things. So his tactics, and I was like, this is so good. And I put it into practice, and it's really benefited my learning and how I approach different things as well. So yeah, great book. Great book. And he does it in such a way that it's really easy to read and very practical. So I love that.
Love that. Love that. That's so good. Okay, question. What is the last thing that made you or someone you know laugh so hard that you cried?
Don't remember, but I remember. It's so funny because sometimes you don't remember things about yourself, but you remember it about other people. And my husband, bless, he is so not funny, but he's so funny at the same time. So we have very different senses of humor. His is Canadian. His is like dry, but it has to be what he calls two layers of jokes. And he'll crack himself up. He's laying in bed, cracking himself up. And I'm just over here and he's like laughing so hard, he's rolling off the bed at his own joke. And then he's like, don't you see it? It's two layered. It's so funny. And I was like, but I'm just laughing at him hysterically because he is laughing so hard at himself or his own joke. It's just, to me, it's just so funny. I love it. I love watching him crack up. So
oh, that's so good. It's so funny. Part of why I asked that question is it's like to think about, when's the last time I laughed? Like laughing is so healing. It's so fun because I have to think about it too. Like I remember laughing really hard, but I love what you shared too of, I could maybe think of other people that you witness sometimes easier. And so anyways, that's really good. I love that. And it's fun to picture Steve laughing at himself. Oh, I love it. Okay, now we're setting the stage for this last one. And this is the world-changing stage.
Ooh.
So if you imagine that you have the entire world listening to you and you're on a stage, you have a platform, you have the podium and the mic, and everyone's ears are open to what you have to say. What would you tell them in hopes that it would impact their lives, that they could take it and apply to change their own life?
I'm going to go back because this is so powerful. And I have actually stories of people coming up to me and going like, you did that. I'm afraid to do that, but I see you doing that. I know I can do that. And it just blows my mind every single time. So it's really, you can do hard things. You can do hard things. And even if you don't see somebody else doing it, like I don't see anybody else building a spa in this town or building a Pilates studio. I can do that though. I'll figure it out. I will talk to people. You can do it. You can do hard things, whatever that looks like. Get out of your comfort zone, put your toe into something and know that you can learn it. know that you don't have to dive full head into there without a life preserver, but dip your toe in. Understand that you can learn to do things that are outside your comfort zone, and know that you're going to be okay. You are going to be okay. Either way it goes, you're going to be okay. But do hard things because you'll love it. I'm going to be frank with you. You're like, oh, I did that. And your self-confidence, when you do hard things, when you do anything outside your comfort zone, you increase your confidence in who you are, your self-worth, all of it. And I can't encourage that enough. I cannot encourage that enough.
So good.
No.
Mic drop, baby. That was good. I'm like, yeah, beat my chest so I can do hard thing. Thank you. Oh man, Aleah, you're incredible.
Yeah.
Super appreciate you and your time today. This is awesome. Everyone, go follow her. Put a notification on your phone when the book drops. Get the book. And if you're in Wyoming, watch out. Casper, Wyoming, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Casper, Wyoming. Big things are coming to your town, okay?
They
Or if you
absolutely
want to
are.
visit there,
Yeah.
Aleah's Airbnb, there's just options. There's options. So anyways, team,
Yeah.
thanks for listening today. Aleah, thanks for your time. And until
Thank
next
you.
time, everyone have a beautiful and blessed day.